Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Cauldrons of War, Stalingrad. We're playing as the Soviets this time. We're in August the 6th in 1942. And, well, I do believe we've already read this. Fascists landing at Taman. The port of Temryuk on the Sea of Azov is occupied by fascist troops. The capture enabled them to pass their troops from Crimea to the Taman Peninsula. The passage was carried out on small boats and ferries, while the Luftwaffe drove our air force out of the area. The Taman beachhead enabled them to directly threaten the port of Novorossiysk, whose capture would open the coastal road to Batumi and above all would facilitate their supplying. It was predictable. Economic collapse. The loss of the rich, fertile regions of the Kuban after Ukraine is another blow to the Soviet economy. In fact, complete collapse in many sectors is so close that Mongol, British, and American aid cannot prevent it. Grain production has dropped 3 times compared to 1940. The decline in production is huge in all major sectors: cement, aluminium, coal, electricity. Most industrial resources are mobilized for the army, and the civilian economy often refers to traditional farming, with women and children cultivating crops with lesser amount of horses and almost no tractors for 16 and even 18 hours a day. Scurvy has appeared in the regions. Infant mortality has increased 5-fold. Clothes and shoes are very hard to find. The government, realizing that such difficulties once led to the fall of the Tsarist regime, further intensifies propaganda. Tiredness and attrition of Soviet units is +3. Barbarity +10. The barbarity is weird, though. I'll have to take a look at what barbarity does amongst the Soviet troops. Stalin decided to involve 7 of the reserve divisions he was keeping on hand for special occasions. These divisions are ready to be thrown against the enemy as soon as they get off the train, but this is certainly enough to sustain an offensive or stop an enemy breakthrough. But where should we send these precious reserves? To Volkov, Stalingrad, or west? Let's send them to Stalingrad. You're probably wondering why you end up with a bunch of small divisions in a game where the base skill is army. Historically, these divisions fought with the 57th and 64th armies against General Hoth's troops moving up to the city from the south. Thrown into combat as they arrived, they helped slow down and then stop the Germans. In the game, if these units are useful in defense to delay the enemy, they have no interest in attack, and above all, they are not intended to remain isolated throughout the game. You can assign these divisions to an army without spending a command point. Do not deprive yourself of them. Oh, okay. Fair enough. In Leningrad, they have siege artillery go to the front. That does not mean that there's suddenly more that I can do. Continue with my night attacks. Whereas at the Volkov front, I will continue to just shell for the moment. And we lost an infantry there in the 11th Army. They attack with the 2nd Corps. But I have no troops to spare. So I'll just refit and shell again. Kalina in front. We'll do shelling. And just refit these guys behind the lines. Western front now has more. Of course, things remain tough with the 46th Panzer Corps tank 39th Army. I already have our superiority. Mm. 60th Army actually has a lot of artillery, so I'd send it to the Rzhev-Shchovka rail line, or just send it there. because these will just stay in reserve for the moment. Go to the front. They need to dig in. They need defense and death. And they need to be refitted. Before I can do anything there. Bryansk front. Well, they didn't do a... Oh, okay, jeez. They achieved that with shelling. I remember shelling myself with 2nd Panzer Army and then doing jack shit. So that is rather unfortunate. The 50th Army also has nothing, really. I mean, do I have artillery even? I don't even have artillery. So let's get them off the line. Actually, let's hold these. And let's refit a bunch of these. And send one to the front there. Southwestern front. I don't know how they managed to get the 9th Romanian Cavalry Division to actually work its magic on this army. But they can't be having a whole lot, and it's wasting the stuff from this army. So they didn't do anything there except attack or something. And let's see, 3rd Romanian Mountain, 2nd Romanian Mountain, 57th Panzer Corps, 1st Mountain Division, all went there. Now, what I will do is send the cavalry to Operation Blücher. And these to battle for Makop. And have these guys dig in too. And then for the south, which deals only with this operation, I mean, this at the very least wears them out too, so. Now nothing happened here, which is interesting. 46th Army, 64th Army, going from strategic reserve. Now, that means I'm gonna be sending you to the Don Loop. And 2 more. We'll see what we can do there. Just trying to delay them a bit. 13th. Free Leningrad. It's time to lift the siege of Leningrad. The Volkov front will have to lead the main thrust and rescue the besieged city. The terrain is particularly difficult and the enemy firmly entrenched, but the distance to be covered is short. The heroic defenders of Leningrad are counting on us. Volkov front +2, Leningrad front +2 command points this turn only. Liquidate the Demyan salient. The Stavka is studying a series of offensives in the north of the country. Among the potential objectives, the Demyansk area is a prime target. Attacking in this direction would eliminate an enemy salient and tie down enemy units, thus preventing the reinforcement of the Volkov and Ryshev areas. However, perhaps we are dispersing our efforts to the detriment of the fighting further south or further north. We have to rule on the matter. We can attack towards Demyansk, giving the northwest front 2 command points and the Kalinin front -1. And we must not lose our focus, gives Volkov front +1 command point. I think that's like overall it's always +1, but I'll spread out a bit. The Persian corridor. Our production of rails and locomotives has collapsed, but our transportation system is expected to hold up. Locomotives, wagons and rails sent by our allies are starting to arrive, even if it's still too slow a pace. Shipments of food commodities are particularly welcome, and the canned corned beef being very appreciated by our soldiers. Metals, petroleum products, armaments, powders and explosives, all these necessary goods for our economy pass through the Persian corridor. If the Germans manage to cut it, that would undoubtedly be the end of the war for us. While official propaganda is careful not to highlight the aid of the capitalist powers, generals and soldiers on the ground know that what they owe it. Transcaucasian Front receives reinforcements in tanks, trucks and planes more frequently while the Persian corridor is active. Transcaucasian Front gains 1 command point. You lose 5 victory points if the Persian corridor is cut. So they killed those guys. I don't remember me as an Axis force having air superiority there, but okay. That's fine. That's weird. How can they just go and supply the 17th Army there? We certainly couldn't do that. That's a bit weird if you ask me. And then in here they did nothing. Supplying 6th Army, they attacked and then they had to supply them again. That's here in the Don Loop. Again, 63rd Army, they just crashed a Romanian cavalry division in there. Not particularly sure why they did that. But let's actually see what you have, because they have only artillery and planes. But at this moment, I can send them. Let's at least send another corps, I think. Let's see which are best to organize these guys to the Bukukar bridgehead. These guys can't do anything more currently, but at least now these guys can also move faster technically, and I have a bit of a reserve there for when I want to continue moving. It seems like this can only possibly lead to some kind of counterattack or something. Nothing more. It's a bit weird at that. Oh, they did attack. Well, that sure is interesting. Shelling, then up here, 9th Army attacked. It didn't do that much. Let's just start up here. 23rd Army lost some while the 50th Corps attacked. Interesting that they actually attacked there. Yeah, I can't actually refit them. But they did have most artillery. Not that I could shell them. That's kind of the problem. At Volkov, they also again tried to attack with the 26th into the 54th. Let's refit them for the moment. I have quite a few units there too. Now I'll also Galicia Northwest, Signavino. What? This is Signavino, right? Yeah. I will send them there. And then at the northwestern front. Sweet. I'll just keep pounding and eventually they'll keep losing stuff, which should come to my benefit overall. And on the Kalinin front it's a bit trickier, but let's see, they attacked the 29th Army, which is certainly not in the greatest of shape, but I could technically refit them. Get them its infantry back too. Then the 60th Army can now actually start shelling. 9th Army is now getting exhausted, which is good. I'll keep pounding away for the moment, and these guys still have all their cohesion, so it's not as if I'm suddenly going to be victorious, but Brienne's front has some infantry now left to spare. That's good. Let's refit them. They're doing a little bit better now. Let's see. They lose one infantry, one cohesion. Sweet. Now they're very tired too. That means that they're going to be a bit weaker soon, so I'm actually more inclined to continue shelling at that. Okay, so in here they did hold the line. And I'll have these guys kind of sacrifice themselves in a way. In the south, though, they cannot do anything for now. I'm a bit disinclined to actually charge into them. But we'll see. For the moment, I'll just continue to dig in. They might well finish off those militias, but it's not that bad. Underground Party. It's not conceivable to abandon the Caucasus to the fascists. Even in the event of defeat, combat must go on. Partisan detachments are created in order to disrupt the enemy logistics by attacking their supply columns and by destroying bridges and railways. Partisans will need to be sufficiently equipped to be able to attack enemy depots and even headquarters. Partisans will also collect valuable intelligence. Communist partisans appear in the Caucasus. Partisans will sometimes inform the Red Army about enemy troops. For the party. The enemy is behaving a bit weird, but yeah. Sadly, I can't really do a whole lot here except keep attacking like that. I'll just have to continue to try and break through at Volkov and do another thing that I'm trying to do here is getting so many units out there that it becomes troublesome for them, but that didn't do a whole lot, unfortunately, this time. We know that these guys are in bad shape, and these guys too, but the 28th and the 1st are still doing quite fine. Now in the west, nothing happened. And they send 2nd Panzer in... wait. They refit, and then they're suddenly back. Okay. That didn't necessarily go super well. But the thing is that maybe at some point we'll get through. They didn't do anything here, which is the more interesting part. Okay, that didn't help that much. So let's do another shelling. So they send a bunch of these reserve units over here to the southwestern front. That means, I guess, they only smashed the 126th Division, delaying the enemy by quite a bit. Here they didn't do anything, although these guys also can't be refitted and they cannot be removed from here, weirdly enough. Not really sure why. We lost 5 cohesion. They lost an artillery and a cohesion. Oh, it's something. And then for the Stalingrad front, let's send another 2 of these to the Don Loop. In here, they attacked 17 Kuban, nothing happened with the 46th Infantry Division. Not sure how powerful they are. I wonder, as for the supplying, yeah, it's just very unclear what's going on there, but that's bombed up. They lost 1 artillery. I'll bomb them again. Let's take these guys in. And let's send the 10th Guards Rifle Corps to Operation Blücher. So Western Front. Send another unit to the Blücher bridgehead. I find it very interesting what they're trying to do here. It'll be a lot harder, of course, to break through this. They did tackle the defenses of that particular area, but that does delay them by quite a bit too. A costly offensive. The offensive against Army Group Center is very costly in terms of resources. The demands coming from the Western Front are outrageous, and most of the units engaged have an urgent need for time to reconstitute and reorganize. It seems impossible to pursue this offensive without draining significant resources from the other fronts. The Western Front units gain 3 Tynus attrition points. Volkov, Northwest, Bryansk, Voronezh, and Don fronts lose 1 command point. These fronts send their planes, trucks, guns, tanks, and manpower reserves to the Western Front, or reorganize the troops. The command points of the Western and Kalinin fronts are reduced to 3. The units of these fronts lose 3 points of tiredness of attrition, unless isolated, and they gain 1 point of cohesion. Let's just reorganize here. Um, 46 just killed itself. So there's now nothing that I need to do here. The landing went well, but they are dead. Supply, split, 4th Panzer in reserve, 4th Panzer refit, and then they sent 4th Panzer to the front. Okay. Well, then I'll send both of these to the battle for Maycop. Nothing else here. I'll just dig these in, and it'll take at least another turn for my other units to dig in there, so. I'll just send these back. Now at Stalingrad, they destroyed the 204th and then had to resupply a 6th Army again. So just send these to the front and just entrench. So now it's 64, so they're slowly getting there. At the southwestern front, they continue to attack with their weaker forces, but they did get air superiority. I don't have any planes, so there's not much I can do. Except refit the 63rd, I guess. I mean, these forces are not super powerful, so at least things will be tough for them like that. Okay, that sucks. This 42nd Army is also not doing super amazingly. Again, I'll do a night attack. The Volkov front lost some of the 54th Army here. 54th. Let's have you refit. If only these guys who have a lot of artillery, or at least enough. So that's basically what I'll continue to pursue. It's just shelling them. Division of Seoul went to the refit, and then they did their magic on it. Wow. That's good, I suppose. At Kalinin. Again, that's okay, I guess. The fact that they keep losing infantry, at least with some of their units, is pretty decent. Entrenchment 9 army, that's all. And I did another attack, but it did not work. And they now have exposed flanks. My hope is just that these guys are more tired now. 2nd Panzer lost 1 infantry trying to attack. That's good at least. Refit 61st. What we gonna do? Probably just a bunch of shelling. But for the Bryansk front, I also need some units into beyond the Sasna. Because the Axis are doing some weird stuff there. I need to get the 6th out too eventually. If I still can by that point. September 3rd. No other stuff. They send the Gruppe Mattenklot, which is of course the more challenging of the two. But that's the last unit that the Crimean units have, I think. 4th Panzer attacking the 11th Guards. And then the 1st Separate Rifle Corps is just straight up dead. I'll just have them dig in. Southern front. I don't think these guys were doing a whole lot, indeed. So, how much stuff do they have anyway? Only planes. They just lost a truck only. That's a shame. At Stalingrad, they encircled the 64th Army. Quite bad at that. I'll just try to hold on for as long as possible now. That army is certainly going to die. Southwestern front. They attack with the 5th and attack with the 5th again, making me lose some cohesion. I'll just refit the 63rd Army. These guys will soon be worn out, I'd wager. They smashed again into 6th Army here. Let's get them out. I don't want my units to be destroyed either. So let's also check here. Second pads are attacking again. And then out in the west, they did shelling on the 29th. Let's look up here. Luckily, the 50th couldn't do anything against the 42nd. And Volkov, 26 attacking. So really, it's the only unit that I have. None of them are tired yet either. This is interesting though, because they only have this unit. Still felt like it was kind of worth it to attack there, even though it didn't really achieve anything. I'll leave them to the back. Okay, that didn't help much. Then here we do have these two. Let's see if I can many of these guys are pretty weak now. I really need reinforcements at the Bryansk front. But for now I can only refit them without any reinforcements. September 10th. Leningrad again. 50th Corps refit now. I mean, they can do as they please here. Wow, wow, 26 just killed itself. Hey, lucky me. That means we have one less unit to deal with. Of course, we still have the two most powerful, the 1st and the 28th. And the 38th Corps is still a problem. Refits. And refit. By this point, I also really feel like putting up the pressure, so I really want to keep pounding away at whatever they have. They use some reinforcements. They still have a lot of reinforcements in general. So that's also a bit tricky there. Like here, for example. Right, well, how powerful is that core anyway? Do wonder. Quite powerful. And then that's Kalinin. Best I can do is that. Ninth Army now in reserve. They now have both of those units in reserve. I lost a cohesion, they lost one tank. And 2 trucks. Still not amazing. 2nd Panzer attacking into 13th, not doing anything. At least. And then down here, they smash with 2nd into 3rd Tank Corps, making me lose very little. So I don't think I got reinforcements. No, I did not. Bad weather. I didn't really mean to attack the security division. I'll go to beyond the Sosna, put another unit in there. Why not? Southwestern Front. They attacked again with the 5th, doing nothing, and then using an air bombardment. I can't do a whole lot there, but that's okay. They smashed the 208th. Those are also dead now. They have to continuously resupply that 6th Army. Let's wait on that for a bit. So they attacked 2 times and then supplied. They can't get out. So then here they killed the last 2 militias. which is fair enough. Now the southern front. I'll do that again. And for the Stalingrad front, I'll continue to send units into the Dawn Loop. The other unit, 64th, is dead now. They'll cross soon enough then. But it's already late September. 4 planets. The Stavka envisions 2 giant operations to surround the fascist armies, one in the center and one further south in the Don region. We won't waste our efforts anymore with hasty offensives, so the Stavka wants to take the time and the means to mount these major offensives by accumulating troops and stocks, but also intelligence. Above all, these offensives will be carefully planned. In the center, Operation Mars, followed by Operation Jupiter, should isolate and destroy the Central Army Group. Operation Uranus, followed by Operation Saturn, would have the same objectives in the Dawn Loop for the Southern Army Group. For now, these operations are just speculative ideas, and all options are open. We can either prepare these 4 operations, focus on Uranus and Saturn. This is significant. This is very significant. And I'll just do all 4. It is important that the enemy ignore our preparations for as long as possible. Within each front, an officer in charge of the Maskirovka ensures that the camouflage work is carried out and that the movement of the troops forward the assembly areas take place at night. The troops having to remain hidden during the day. Supply depots will be made in very small batches so as to not arouse attention, and reconnaissance is carried out regularly but not too intensively. With all these precautions, it will take at least 2 months before being able to attack. The aviation will answer the call. General Novikov of the VVS is committed to it. New instructions have been given in order to spare the pilots who were previously sent to the meat grinder, and cooperation with the army is being reworked and improved. New aircraft models that can compete with the Luftwaffe aircraft are beginning to appear and will undoubtedly allow us to conquer the skies. Mars and Uranus will be launched around mid-November. The command points of the fronts involved will be greatly increased. Reinforcements in guns, men and tanks will be sent to the concerned fronts in priority, and aircraft reinforcements are frozen. They'll be made available to you during the offensive. Unfortunate this, but they haven't broken through yet. Same here. I get that the AI can just attack with 4th Panzer however they feel like, but it sure is a bit weird. Anyway, they lost an artillery for these. Actually, now that I think about it, my time is already up. So I'll be wrapping this one up. I want to thank you for watching. This, of course, once again was a bonus episode brought to you by my Patreon supporter, Pumnorau. I want to thank all my Patreon supporters for making it possible for me to make these extra videos. So I'll see you all next time. Take care. See you then. Bye-bye.